In the heart of German-occupied Poland during World War II, there existed a place of unspeakable suffering and horror, Sobibor. Amidst the pervasive despair that hung heavy in the air, there emerged a figure who refused to succumb to the shadows. His name was Alexander Paczerski, a mere prisoner among many, yet his spirit burned bright with defiance against the darkness that enveloped them all. Together, they forged a daring plan, a flicker of hope amidst the grim reality of their existence. With unwavering courage and a resolute determination, they orchestrated their escape from the clutches of Sobibor. In that moment of defiance, their actions spoke volumes, echoing through the annals of history as a testament to the unyielding resilience of the human spirit against the darkest of times. Their escape served as a beacon of hope, illuminating the path for others amidst the engulfing darkness, a powerful reminder that even in the bleakest of circumstances, the flame of humanity can never be extinguished. The movie starts with SS officers waiting for a train. When the train arrives, lots of Jewish people get off. They're greeted as if they're welcomed home to Sobibor, but it's all fake. The jewelers quietly talk about how strict the Germans are with their rules. Officer Wagner, a chilling figure, extends his welcome to the newcomers, explaining the camp's regulations through his interpreter stationed behind him. He informs the new arrivals of the temporary separation of men and women, emphasizing that the women must undergo a shower for supposed hygiene reasons. An experienced person who survived the camp, Chaim, quietly tells a young girl, Evrishchka, to do whatever job she's given to stay alive. Then the Jews are sorted by their jobs, which makes Officer Wagner happy when he sees the skilled jewelers among them. In the middle of all this confusion, a touching scene happens when a young girl says she wants to stay with her older brother Shlomik. He comforts her, promising to come back and make her earrings before they say goodbye. The women are taken to what they're told is a shower room. Inside, they are unexpectedly ordered to cut their hair, without any explanation. It turns out that the shower room is actually hiding a gas chamber. In a harrowing moment, they face their tragic fate as they are mercilessly executed, while the camp's senior official witnesses the horror. As night fell upon Sobibor, a group of inmates huddled together, discussing the failed escape attempts of survivors from Minsk. Their conversation turned to Alexander, or Sasha, as they called him. One of them brandished a knife, demanding to know why Sasha had been spared while others perished. In response, Sasha disclosed a startling revelation. He bore the same mark of circumcision as they did. Under cover of darkness, Sasha slipped away from the watchful eyes of the guards, guided by the quiet calls of his fellow prisoners who shared the same dream of freedom. He ventured into off-limits areas, where he discovered them huddled together, their faces lit by a small flame of hope. United, they made plans, knowing they were stronger together in their fight for freedom. In the workshop where they gather the belongings of those who have passed away, Officer Wagner makes fun of the dead people, but he doesn't know that his boss is there, watching quietly before leaving without saying anything. Meanwhile, a jeweler looks through the items and finds a ring he made for his wife. When he realizes what happened to her, he feels incredibly sad and upset, breaking down the tough front he usually puts up. In the carpentry workshop, Sasha is approached by his wife Luka, who claims to know about his plans. She advises him to let go of thoughts about Minsk if he wants to stay alive, stressing the importance of survival above all else. Despite the seriousness of her warning, Sasha stays firm in his determination, his resolve unwavering as he considers the dangerous journey ahead. While working in the garden, some prisoners try to escape using the tools they have, but it goes terribly wrong when landmines explode nearby, alerting the guards. They shoot at the fleeing prisoners, and many are killed. What started as a hopeful escape ended in tragedy, leaving chaos and sadness behind. After the failed attempt, Officer Wagner sternly warns the prisoners to keep an eye out for any escape plans to avoid innocent people getting hurt. He tells them to report to their capo if they suspect anything. As punishment for the escape tries, every 10th person is shot, serving as a grim reminder of the consequences of defiance. Under the cover of darkness, the jeweler cruelly taunts the sleeping Jews, mocking them about the ashes of their loved ones swirling in their faces. Despite Shlomik's efforts to block out the hateful words, he clings to the Germans' false promise that his family still lives. The jeweler's laughter cuts through the night air, mingling with bitter curses, deepening the despair and agony among the prisoners. Unable to bear the torment any longer, Shlomik ventures outside, where the harsh reality of the gas chamber confirms the truth he had desperately tried to deny. In the morning, while they worked, Leo approached Sasha and said they needed a leader with military experience for their group. As they worked together, they talked about what the group had done before, sharing stories of what they faced and how they managed to get through tough times. An officer offers Chaim a glass of cognac, but he declines politely, explaining that he's Jewish. Angered by his refusal, the officer lashes out and beats him mercilessly, while Sasha and his companion listen in horror from a distance. When the senior officer arrives in the forest where the Jews are working, all of them stop working out of respect. The officer then summons Sasha and gives him 5 minutes to split a large stump. He warns that if Sasha fails, they will shoot every 10th person. Sasha begins and manages to split the stump in 4.5 minutes, impressing the officer. As a reward, the officer offers him an apple, but Sasha declines, stating that the food they are given is enough to satisfy them. At night, we see Sasha and Leo in the forbidden area. Then Leo pleads with Sasha to become their leader. Sasha tells him he'll think about it, but before they can discuss it further, they are ambushed by other men and beaten. Once the attackers leave, Leo informs Sasha that the others don't want another escape attempt because they fear being shot. He warns that if they're seen together again, they'll be reported. In the bedroom, the jeweler is seen grieving over his wife, holding her ring in his hands, feeling the weight of his loss. In the next scene, Shlomik is seen drunk, drinking cognac despite others advising him to stop due to his young age. He expresses his grief and shouts at the others, revealing his anguish. He also recounts how an officer brought him a gold tooth with chunks of jaws so that he could make a pin for his tie. The next day, the train arrives again, but this time with corpses. The Jews are ordered to move the bodies. Yuri calls for Leo because he found someone alive but couldn't understand what the person was saying. As Leo tries to listen, they hear a gunshot. It's Wagner. He asks what they are doing, but Leo dismisses him, admiring his shot as lovely. During the night, Leo shares what the man was trying to say. He reveals that the train was from Belzec and that Belzec had been shut down in 3 days by orders from the command. The deceased man also mentioned seeking revenge for their brothers. Another individual informs them that Belzec was destroyed because Soviet troops were advancing westward to them. He also emphasizes that the most crucial thing now is to stay alive and wait for the Red Army. While others express their uncertainty about how long they'll have to wait, another man, a capo, enters the room and informs them that they won't survive until the army arrives. He warns them that their camp is next in line for liquidation. Sasha then asks the capo if he's capable of killing, to which he responds affirmatively. Sasha explains to the others that the capo has access to the rooms where the officers reside. These officers, 12 in number, are the brains of Sobibor. Sasha proposes that if they eliminate the brains, they can destroy them all. The others inquire how they will accomplish this. Sasha responds that they will stab them, tear them apart, or strangle them to avoid suspicion. He elaborates on their plan. After liquidating all the officers, they will take their weapons and leave through the central gate. He emphasizes that the entire camp must leave together, either all or none, and then they divide. Later that night, Leo approached the market director, seeking a solution because they urgently required bullets. In the morning, Evrishchka is approached by Baldly, a capo, who falsely claims to know about a stolen jewel, using it as an excuse to sexually assault her. As he attempts to assault her, he is strangled to death by another capo. The capo shows Sasha the dead body of Bladley. Sasha asks him what he plans to do. The capo explains that he will tell the Germans that Baldy got sick, so they won't start looking for him until the next day. As Sasha explains how they will lure all the officers to the workshop the next day and eliminate them one by one, the capo informs them that 3 of the officers will be away on business. Sasha sees this as an opportunity since there will then be 9 officers remaining. He urges them to find any excuse to lure them without arousing suspicion, as this will be the most challenging aspect. When Sasha asks if they can accomplish it, a kid named Thomas appears from under a cabinet, suggesting that he can help. All of them agree, seeing it as a promising option. Sasha then asks the kid how he plans to help. Thomas explains that the officers trust him. Sasha invites the kid to come out and begins to explain the plan. As Sasha was explaining the plan, they heard a siren, signaling an immediate meeting, interrupting their discussion. As the Jews were lined up, a pickup truck arrived and masked men disembarked. The Jews were ordered to kneel down. Instead of firing at them, the men fired their guns into the sky, causing the Jews to tremble in fear. It turned out that the men were prison guards mocking the Jews. That night, the officers raised their glasses in a toast to Oberscharführer Frenzel and celebrated, all while mocking and beating the Jews. Officer Wagner even fired his gun, killing a Jew, while disrespectfully closing one eye. Standing up, Officer Wagner proclaimed himself as John the Baptist, holding drinks in his hands. Meanwhile, the jeweler, who had lost his mind, asked him about his wife, showing him the ring. In response, Wagner spilled his drink on him and set him on fire, watching him burn before his eyes. Another officer kills the jeweler using a gun. The next day, Thomas attempts to lure Wagner to the workshop by claiming he has found a nice coat. Wagner tells him that if the coat is indeed nice, he'll reward him with some sugar. Just as Wagner is about to try on the jacket, Yuri emerges from behind and silently kills him with an axe. Thomas also attempts the same trick on Mr. Unterscharführer, which he succeeds in. After entering the workshop, Mr. Unterscharführer appears suspicious and tries to leave. However, the dressmaker convinces him that alterations need to be made to his clothes and persuades him to try on the garments. As the man poses for the photo, Yuri stealthily approaches and strikes him down with an axe. In the shoe shop, Thomas successfully lures another officer inside. While the officer attempts to abuse Thomas, the shoemaker intervenes and fatally stabs the officer with a pair of scissors. Shlomik approaches Officer Newman, the weapons weapon storeman, pretending to have brought the pin. Then he swiftly stabs Newman with a knife hidden under his sleeve. He then brought weapons to Sasha. Later, Chaim arrived and claimed to have access to Barak, another officer. He requested to be given the task, and they agreed. Chaim is then seen entering Barak's room, and after a while, he emerges with blood on his hands. As the sound of the siren is heard, everyone gathers. The senior officer asks what's going on and where everyone is. He is then shot from a distance by Shlomik. Other guards start firing, initiating a real war. Yuri tells Leo to lead the people to run, but Leo is killed by a guard. Guards on the upper deck shoot at everyone who is running. Sasha, at the front, manages to open the central gate, while every Jew follows him. Yuri and the others manage to open another door using a sturdy beam. Sasha is seen desperately searching for Luka, his wife. The movie concludes as Shlomik ventures out into the field, heading towards freedom. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.